I grew my LinkedIn by 15,000 followers in 18 months, and LinkedIn has been key to me making over $53 million in sales. This is the exact process that I followed to fix my profile, publish content that gets noticed without feeling overwhelmed creating posts, and get connected to people who send me business. I'm going to share with you how I did it, give you the checklists and the spreadsheets so you can do it too. But before I share it with you, just give me 30 seconds so I can explain why I had to create this process that will guarantee you better business results using LinkedIn. And then for the rest of the video, I'll screen share and I'll give you all the tools and how to use them. And as usual, if you want free access to everything you see in this video, just click on the link below. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Raj Jha and I founded 5 companies. I took a company public and I've done over $440 million in sales transactions. But the thing that let me get my business from LinkedIn is when I stopped just doing random stuff and posting random stuff and not doing things regularly and started a repeatable process that you are going to see today. I used to think that LinkedIn was just like a resume holder, or I just ignore it. But when you invest just a few minutes a day using a process that I'm going to show you now, you can get predictable results. Now, I share this with over 1,000 entrepreneurs in my CEO Workbench community, and today I'm going to give you a part of that system for free. Okay, let's jump in and get you some business from LinkedIn. Today, we're going to talk about getting business on LinkedIn and specifically a few things. Number one, we're going to talk about the real reason why people fail to get business on LinkedIn. Then we're going to talk about customer attracting profiles. What does it take to create a profile that people will want to take action from? They're going to see it and they're like, I have to talk to this person. I have to find out what they're about. I want to learn more about what they have to offer. We're going to talk briefly about your contacts and using those in LinkedIn. Then I'm going to introduce you to the VIP referral process. This is a process that will get you connected to people who will be able to drive you a lot more business. And then we're going to talk about the 5-minute content hack. If you've ever struggled to keep pace with publishing on LinkedIn, making sure that you've always got a post on the ready, this is going to show you a tool that is going to be a fantastic way for you to get jump started on that. So let's jump right in. What we're not going to cover on this training is mass DM outreach. So if you want to direct message a bunch of people and ask them for business, this is not what this is about. That is more on the sales side of things. I've done other trainings having to do with sales, and that is a strategy which could be used on multiple platforms, whether you're using Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram. The DM strategy is more a cousin of cold email outreach, and that's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about using the platform of LinkedIn to get you more business, not with messaging, but with using the platform features. So let's talk first about the real reason why people fail on LinkedIn. They fail because mostly of me. Their profile, their posts, everything, but look at me, I'm so great. And then the humble brags. Have you ever seen the posts where somebody is humbled and honored to be presented with something or to be chosen to speak? That kind of stuff just does not work. It really turns people off. Maybe you'll get people applauding you if they already know you, but if they don't know you, they're just going to think you're a dude. So just don't do that. Likewise, LinkedIn fails if it's just, here's my resume, and it's just a resume holder, and you're not posting it on. Then all it is it's an online resume, and that's not using it to its potential either. So you have to avoid these two things. Talking about yourself, and I will show you there's a place for that, a certain way to do it, but the way that most posts, if you're scrolling down most posts, most of what you will see is garbage. It is going to be, look at me, I'm so great, or something very left-brained and not interesting, like I just wrote this article, or here's my resume. That's what you're going to see, and that's wrong. That's why most people get no results from LinkedIn. But I'm going to show you a method that if you actually put it in practice, you will get results from LinkedIn. So how it actually works is you need to be able to answer these questions. Number one, is it 100% clear who you help? And we're going to go into the profile and help you do that as we go through a live kind of profile review, but it's often not clear who you help. Now, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, if all you're saying is you're CEO of XYZ Corporation, that's not helpful to some. They need to know, when do they think about you? What is special? What is unique about what you are doing? What's something that makes them go, I want to learn more about that? And so I'll give you examples in a little bit. And then the next, is it clear when to think of you? So have you engineered your profile, your posts, so that they know you're about something, that you're not just either posting a bunch of personal stuff or you're saying me. When do they think about you? This is key. It's a marketing principle. because this is a marketing platform to attract people to you. And then, is it clear what to do to connect with you? How do they engage with you? Is there an invitation to take a next step? So all of these things, I'm going to show you how to do them, but this is how it actually works. This is what you need to be doing in order to engineer contacts coming to you from LinkedIn, getting prospects, getting referral partners, especially, as we're going to talk about in a little bit, from LinkedIn. So the next thing is an elevator pitch. We're not going to go into detail here because I've got a whole separate training on that. But the elevator pitch, the concept of an elevator pitch is right message for right person. So if you have the right message for the right person, then they're going to be attracted to you. But if you are just kind of shouting into the void and you don't really have a crisp pitch about how you can help someone, they're not going to listen. So again, the link below is going to have access to the materials that we're going to talk about here today. And if you use that link, there'll also be a bunch of other materials, including a way to get to my elevator pitch training for free. So first, let's build you a customer attracting profile, because this is a really important part about it. And if you just have a generic profile, no one is going to care. So why does your profile matter? It is your best foot forward. If you have a generic profile that looks like you just slapped up your resume, there is no purpose for someone knowing what to do next. It's just like, oh, okay, here's that person, whatever. Instead of saying, oh, this is how that person can help me. This is who they help, so I know who to refer to them. So you need to change it to make a real good and first impression. If your profile is weak, guess what? They are one click away from going and finding someone else if they're looking for someone, or just getting distracted, watching cat videos, whatever the hell they're doing online. They're just a click away. So if your profile does not grab them right away and say, ooh, I want more of this, you will lose them. And if you've ever looked at your profile visits, that's something you can tell in the statistics inside LinkedIn. If you ever looked at how many profile views you have, all of those people took a look at your profile. And if they didn't take action, then you have to ask yourself, is your profile really doing its job? So that's what we're going to look at later on, how to optimize that. So key elements of the profile is your photo, your wallpaper, your headline, the about section, that's kind of the summary, featured resources, and then your resume, which is, I think they call experience now on LinkedIn. So these are the key elements, and we're going to work through each one of those. First of all, profile photo. Don't use a crappy selfie. Some people use a crappy selfie, and it really looks unprofessional. It does not look inviting. It doesn't have a good smile. I'm going to show you how to get a really good picture and actually be sure that it is a good picture. So you want to either get a professional headshot, or now there's a bunch of AI generators where you can upload some pictures of you and will make it into a professional headshot. Either one is fine, but it has to look professional. It can't look like just something you took with your selfie camera or a friend took of you and you cropped it out of some other picture and there's someone else's shoulder in it. Don't do that. It's not going to look like you're the kind of person that someone trusts. And this trust factor, this first impression of trust factor, is incredibly important because, again, they're one click away from doing something else. So here are a few examples of what you can do and what you shouldn't do. So you have mine on the left, you see professional headshot, and then there's two other examples of what not to do. So we've got the person who hasn't uploaded a profile picture. Obviously, we're just going to pass on that one. That's too obvious. And then we've got this person who's got some anime character there. Which one, if there were three profiles, which one has the highest trust factor? Well, obviously I do, right? But there are degrees of this as well, right? I didn't include one where it's like someone chopped off, like, you know, another picture and they cut and pasted there. This makes a difference. And if you look at my picture, I'm not like bragging here, I'll show you data behind it. My picture is actually highly trustworthy, okay? And this is what you want to get, a highly trustworthy picture. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, but I don't want you underestimating this. This picture, and in miniaturized form on every single post you do on LinkedIn, will be showing up again and again and again. And if it's not sized well, in other words, you can't really see your face, or it's unprofessional, or it's missing, people are going to judge you and your content because of it. You might not like it, but it is true. So here is how you can make sure that you have a really good profile picture. You can go to an app called Photo Feeler. Photo Feeler is really interesting because you upload your picture and real people are evaluating, and they're saying, you put in your title. So I put in my title, CEO, as you can see here. I uploaded my picture and they judge you on, are you competent, likable, and influential? All right. And you can test pictures to say, what do you think of this picture and this face? Now, I don't have the most beautiful face in the world, but a combination of the jacket that I'm wearing and, you know, am I likable, less likable, but I'm in the top 20%. I'm not that likable a guy, so I guess that's fair. That's pretty good for me, I suppose. But I'm not wearing a tie, so it's not too stiff. And I made a choice on this, and I had multiple pictures that I could use for this. But in Photo Feeler, you can judge, and it does cost a little bit of money, not a huge amount, $5, $10, something like that. And you can have people vote much on what they think. So if you look at my picture rating here, I've got a top 3% for competent and a top 5% for influential. This matters. So if you're just thinking that I'm going to slap up a picture and it's just going to work or not work, that is very outdated thinking. Now, as you may know, I am all about scientific entrepreneurship. How can we turn success into a science in business? This is one of those things. This is a test that you can run. Now, I could have run this test myself and designed this kind of experiment. As you might know, if you go to ceoworkbench.com, my site there, or rajjha.com, my site, all about experimentation and making smart decisions based on experiments. Now, I could have run this myself, but the fact is I could upload and put in $5 and just get this done is more worth it than me running my own experiment. So I just used their platform. I don't know it very well. I used it for this. It was pretty good. If you want a free but not as good version, you can try Rate My Photo. That is rate-my-photo.com. And this is an AI kind of thing. So it's not quite as good because it's not like real people making a judgment, and it's not making a judgment based on a goal, right? So in the prior one, you put in your title. For the people who are evaluating it, it says, this person is a CEO. Do you think they are? And then they rate it. This is an AI making a judgment, so it's more of a guess. It's directional, but if you're too cheap to pay the $10, then here's a directional way of doing it, at least. Next is wallpaper. Here is my friend Andrew, who has an excellent wallpaper. So at the top of your LinkedIn profile, you can upload a banner that goes on top of your LinkedIn profile. So Andrew here has done an excellent job, and that's why I want to point it out. He is also brilliant. So if you need an agency to do AI or machine learning or something like that, call Andrew. But he's done an excellent job at this for a few reasons. Number one, it clearly says what his business does. America's top AI agency. I mean, it's right there. And what they do, they deploy AI solutions that CEOs brag about. That's very good phrasing. It's like, well, if it's so good they brag about it, that must be amazing. And then it's got a bunch of credibility builders. Their Clutch, their top firm badges, 12 years of successfully launching apps. So this is a really great way of showcasing what you do. So a lot of people use a generic one. Let me flip back a few slides and I'll flip back here. Okay, so if you look here, we've got a few different takes on what you can do with this banner at the top. So anime person here has just used a generic LinkedIn one. That doesn't tell me anything, right? It's just a placeholder. The person without a picture here, the never give up guy, has got, I don't even understand what relevance this is to anything. It doesn't mean anything. It talks about a person, Travis. This person is not Travis. There's no context. It's a complete left turn. It doesn't really say anything. Mine is a little bit different because I'm not promoting a single business. I have multiple businesses and I help other businesses grow, and I will invest in them. I'll take equity in them in addition to owning my own businesses. So I have a more general proposition and I have a methodology. So I am all about scientific entrepreneurship. So that is the thing that people are saying, wait a minute, scientific? How do I grow a business scientifically? So I'm like teasing on that. So that's my strategy there, which is more akin to this. Now, if you own a single business, I recommend you follow Andrew's lead here and model this. Smart guy, and he's done a great job on this. Okay, so that's what you do with the wallpaper. And as you can see, we are building these elements. Each element has a piece. We're looking for a photograph that is going to really show credibility and trust. We're showing that the first thing someone sees when they click on your profile is that they're going to see what you do or what that you have to offer. So immediately they can see, I'm in the right place if they are a good customer for you. Now, if you're not selling directly, let's say you've got a consumer products company and you're not necessarily on your LinkedIn selling directly to the person who is clicking. Like, let's say, so one of my businesses is an e-commerce business. None of my customers would come to LinkedIn, right? We do advertising on Google and Facebook and things like that, and it's about the product, not about me. However, my profile in that case is meant to attract partners rather than the customers. So it's a different kind of thing, but you're thinking, who am I finding on LinkedIn? And how am I going to get them so that when they land on my profile, they say, I'm in the right place. Next is headline. There are 3, and we can play which one does not belong here. So 3 headlines. I do not know any of these people, so I'm going to give a breakdown here. And if one of these 3 people is watching and I criticize you, just take it as constructive criticism. So first we have Alan. I help SDRs and founders increase their meetings, and you see it gets cut off. Now, I took these screenshots from a post. So when you post on LinkedIn and you are putting up a post, your little icon, your photo goes there, and then a few words of your headline go there, but not your whole headline, so it gets cut off. So what happens before the cutoff is important. But I can tell from Alan's that who he helps, SDRs and founders, increase their meetings. Now, I can't see the rest, but already I know, well, wait a minute, I'm a founder and I want to increase my meetings. Okay, Alan might be the guy I should be listening to. So good job, Alan. Peter, transformational leadership, strategic vision, and planning, it would say. Okay, I now kind of understand what you do, Peter, but I don't understand how that helps me. Do I need my leadership transformed, or are you doing like, I don't really know how you help me. So that is something that could be improved there. Anthony, homepage messaging for early stage B2B startups. Okay, great. I know if I should listen to Anthony if I'm an early stage B2B startup and I need my homepage messaging fixed. So if you're that person and you have that problem, I know exactly who to think about. So you'll see here, 2 of these people have done an excellent job at nailing this. Who do I help and what can I do for you? That is the formula. So as you're thinking about your headline, that's what you want to be thinking about. Now for Peter, I don't really know. Maybe he's got some goal that's being satisfied with this kind of headline, but it's really saying who he is and not what you can help someone with. And that is the critical distinction. So that is the formula. Who do you help and what do you do? Next is the about summary. What you want this about summary to do, we're not going to go into detail here, but look at maybe just the first sentence here. If you want to remove the uncertainty of growing your business, I can show you how by applying the scientific method to scaling. When you stop just making it up and use scientific entrepreneurship, you do benefit. So I am calling out in my about statement, what is the benefit of working? What do you get out of this? Now, again, some people will just put a resume and it will say, see at the bottom, it says Raja's 5-time company founder, former public company executive, blah, 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 right? Most people put that stuff at the top. But if you put that at the top, that's all about you. And you don't lead with you lead with them. And that is what attracts people to you and causes them to dig deeper. Now, I still put it there as credibility material, but it's at the bottom. Above that, I have identifying the person who I want to talk with. And then I give them a couple links. Here's some stuff that here's the next step you can take, right? You can see how, and the personal website, where then I can either put them onto my mailing list, I can send them to my book so they can buy my book, and anything like that, or free business training, which again gets them into my world. So this is the key distinction here. Once again, it's not about me. As you'll notice here, I don't talk about me a lot. It's not like I've done this. It's not the brag session. It's how do I help them? Now, if they believe that you understand their problems, they will give you the time to go further down and validate that you are someone who is real. But if you're starting with you, then they're coming to this and they're like, well, why do I really care about you? Well, I don't. So I'm not going to read any further. But if you're talking about a problem that they have or something you can solve or get them, then the next question they'll have is, okay, why do I believe you? And then you go into credibility. And as you can see, I've organized it this way on the summary here, and you should too. About them first, about you later. Featured resources section. Here you can put in links. You can put in, I think, up to 3 links in here as of the date that I'm recording this, and it can be anything. Now, my suggestion is that you have something to give away for free. So I have 3 examples here. I'll start with mine, CEO Workbench. It is a free resource site that you can sign up for, log in, and get a bunch of trainings. Trainings like this one are all on CEO Workbench. So you can go in there and learn everything you need to know about entrepreneurship and growing a company, etc. So that's my freebie. It gets people into my world, and it's a way for them to take action. And so I've written this like a little mini ad, CEO Workbench, and it says what you get when you click on it. Someone clicks on there, and then they go to that site. They can log in. They'll therefore get on my email list. They get into my world. There are other ways of doing this. Bottom left, book your 60-minute one-on-one LinkedIn power call with me. I don't know who this person is. I just clipped this off of some profile I found, but okay, that makes sense. So that's a Calendly link. And the next, if in this person's sales process, their next thing is that one-on-one, that's a great way to do it. Now, he might want to have something for free. It looks like the next thing, he's got a content toolkit for business growth on Gumroad. Gumroad is where you can sell digital products. So he might be selling it for some money or something. So he's got two links. Both of them are higher threshold links, right? Mine's a freebie. just go ahead, have this thing for free. So low friction. This person on the bottom left has got some slightly higher friction one. One is book a 60-minute call, but what if I'm not ready? What if I don't want to do that? Well, I guess I can buy his stuff. Well, what if I don't want to pay money? So he might want to have a third one there, which is like a freebie thing. So think about where someone is when they're visiting your profile. They might have seen you a bunch of times already. They're coming back to your profile and they want to take a next action. And maybe that's why it's appropriate to have this book this next thing. They might want to put the toe in the water, and that's where a small course like Gumroad there might be good. Or they just might want something free. I've kind of combined a bunch of those because the way that I do it is I've got a free site, which is also getting deeper and deeper. So it's kind of a free thing. And it's also similar to a product, but I don't charge for it because I have no interest in making money off of information. So that's how I do it. Now, in terms of a 60-minute one-on-one, I don't do that because I do consulting. It's at a ridiculously high rate. So I don't have like a 60-minute call of some sort. And that's just my sales process is different because I'm looking for investment opportunities and advisory opportunities, and that's not done in like a 60-minute pitch. On the right, we've got my buddy Grant, and he's got some one-on-one consulting, and it goes straight to his calendar also. And he's also got a product, a personalized automation system that one can get. So this is how you can do it. Just think about what is the mindset of a person coming there. It could be someone who's just checking you out, and maybe you can tempt them with something free. Or maybe it's someone who's seen you a couple times and doesn't really want to get on the phone call because that's like, that's kind of scary. Maybe you can give them a low-cost something to get into your world, or maybe they want to take an action, and then what is it? And when you think about those different mindsets that someone can come to your profile with, then you start to understand, okay, here's how I can get them further down the funnel with me. It's how you start turning this profile and all those optimizations we did with the headline and the photo and the wallpaper is actually turning into leads using this. Then there's a resume. Here's mine. Just doesn't matter. The important thing is that you are showing credibility for what you've done. So in my case, I'm showing a bunch of experience, cut it off here because I'm old and it goes on for a long time. But it's got some current things, and it also shows that I'm an investor. It shows that I've been a founder and CEO, so that, hey, I've actually sat in your chair if I'm investing in or advising your company. It shows that I've been a chief operating officer. Yeah, actually operated a company that we sold. I've been a co-founder. It shows that I'm a former attorney. It shows all of those things that are credibility builders for the kinds of things that I'm doing. And you'll notice that each one has a little mini paragraph. And again, those are meant to be reinforcement for what's come before. This resume is not the main point of LinkedIn. It is a enhancement after the person already says, oh, this person is interesting and could help me. Making changes on LinkedIn. Every time you change your profile, it's going to notify everyone in your network. So if you are going through this and you are making a bunch of changes, it's going to have a whole bunch of notifications. And I personally don't like my network being notified every single time I tweak something, because I might be tweaking it very frequently to figure out the messaging that really works. Maybe I'm adding something to my resources section. Maybe I'm changing some of the language, and I don't want my network constantly being spammed with that. So you can turn that off, and you go into the settings area, visibility, and you turn share profile updates with your network off. And that way they won't get spammed with it all the time. Maybe if you're making a big change, then you just turn that on, make the change, and turn it off again. But I would leave that normally off, because if you're like me and you're wanting LinkedIn to evolve and adapt, and you're running experiments, as you always should be, it's the scientific way, then you should be doing changes pretty frequently, and therefore you want this off. Okay, a brief discussion about your contacts. You want to upload your work contacts from your CRM into LinkedIn and connect with all those people. Yes, it's creepy. Yes, they will know things about you, but it'll also help you find more people. So that's just how it works. It's a social network platform. If you upload your stuff, they are going to know who knows who. That's creepy, but that's also the strength of this platform. So that's as far as I'm going to go with contacts. Other than one aside, which is you are not supposed to download all your contacts and then take the downloaded contact information and spam them in other ways. That's against LinkedIn's terms of service. I know people do this, but just be aware that's against the terms of service. It may lead you in some trouble. Who knows? Okay, let's get into one of the coolest things that I've ever created, which is the VIP referral process. So here's how you get business from LinkedIn. Now, as I said, I'm an older fella, so I used to do old school networking before the internet was really as prevalent as it is today. And I know, imagine that, a world before the internet. There was a lot to be said for that, because there were real personal connections in a way that online is awesome, but it is never a substitute for meeting in person. And LinkedIn you can use in a way unlike most other social platforms, because it's about work like an old school networking meeting. So in the old school way of doing it, what I would do is I might meet someone, talk about who I help, talk about what results I got so they understood what I had to offer. And then if they were not a prospect, I might say, who else do you know who blank, right? And we're going to talk about what that blank is, but I would do that in the real world. So this is warm introductions. You're looking for warm introductions in the real world. But now what LinkedIn lets us do is have those warm introductions targeted at scale, because the number one problem with this kind of in-person networking is speed. There's only so many hours in the day. There are only so many coffees you can have before you're so hopped up on caffeine. There are only so many drink meetings you want to do before you're falling down, and it's just not healthy to be doing that you can't do enough of those. And today also, very often the people that would be most valuable for you to meet are not where you are. If I think right now about my network, there are very few of them within 50 miles of where I live. The vast majority of people that I talk with and have been the best contacts have been hundreds or thousands of miles away. And it's all been because of introductions through online. For instance, one of my oldest business relationships and now good friend, he lives 2,000 miles away. We've met decade plus ago through a post on LinkedIn, and that never would have happened otherwise. So you're constraining yourself if you only do things in the real world in terms of speed and reach. I'm not saying don't do it. It's still valuable. But now let's ask the question of who. Because you're thinking, well, you know what? The people that I want to reach, they're not really, either there's too many of them, like I sell to consumers, so there's like hundreds of them, and I'm not going to meet my customers there, or my customer is worth $300. It's not worth my time fishing on LinkedIn for that. I will solve this problem. Give me a sec. So the question is, who do you meet on LinkedIn? And we're going to talk about it using this idea of warm intros at scale. All right. We know who we want to sell to. We call that our ideal client. I have separate trainings on ideal clients and how you pitch them, etc. So we have an elevator pitch. There is an elevator pitch training. Go find that one. And then how do we get in front of more of them? That's the question. How do we get in front of more ideal clients, customers, prospects? That's our challenge. That's what the VIP referral process is for. So the brute force way of doing things, and as I mentioned earlier in this video, the DM 1,000 people, like direct message 1,000 people on the platform, that's always assuming that those people are like, okay, you want to buy from me now? Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? That is really time consuming. And especially if you're selling something that's lower cost, that doesn't make any sense. So that is, hey, I'm Raj, here's what I got. And every once in a while, you will find someone who wants what you got. It's just the law of large numbers. But that's not the way that we want to do this. We want to not be going on with a shotgun. We want a sniper rifle. Okay. So we need to play chess, not checkers. So this referral process is we ask ourselves the question, who already has access to my customers? In other words, I'm not going directly for my customer. I am going for people who have already put in the time and effort to get connected to my customers. Somebody out there has done this. Therefore, I'm going to those people and I'm going to fish in their pond. They've already stocked the pond. I'm going to fish. Now, might I have to pay them for access to that pond? Maybe, but it certainly is better than sending out thousands of one-on-one attempts to meet people on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is going to be the way in which we connect with these leverage points, these people who already have access to my customers. So it's either 1,000 prospects from 1,000 outreaches. That sounds hard, but I can also get access to 1,000 prospects with 20 strategic relationships. And that is much easier because it takes kind of the same amount of time to generate a relationship, whether it's a direct sale or it's a referral relationship. So if we go for the high value referral relationships, that is what will drive success. Now, maybe you're also thinking, oh, well, I'm not, I sell direct to consumer. People don't refer me business. That is not correct thinking. I have found so many times. So I run an e-commerce business. There is literally no way I would ever reach out to a customer because the monthly amount that they're paying me is $35. It's just, I'm not going to be fishing for $35 at a time. I have thousands of these customers. This would not make sense. But I have used this process not to necessarily get referral partners for referral of business, but also referral of strategies, referral of partnerships, referral of media, referral of people who can help me technically, all these things that get to scaling my business. So you can use it for customers, and you can also use it for just meeting the people, that small core of people who will help you get financing for your business, whoever it is, whatever you can get leverage from. Now, here is the VIP referral sheet. This is linked underneath this video. Here's an example first. I'm going to give you an example first and then give you the template. So the example, this is a family law lawyer. Okay, I picked something because A, I used to have a company that worked with lawyers, so I know them very well. And B, everyone kind of knows what a family law divorce lawyer is, right? Because now I can give an example that everyone understands. Now, where does a divorce lawyer get their referrals from, right? Now, they could advertise and go one for one. They could be calling up everyone. It's like, are you getting divorced? No, click. Are you getting divorced? No, click. Now, you could find clients that way, especially given how often people get divorced. However, if you want to rely on referrals, which is the best way to do it, the leveraged way, who does this family law attorney need to meet? Well, here's a list. Marriage counselor, a priest, pastor, or minister, child psychologist, estate planning attorney, financial advisor, insurance agents, real estate agents, accountants, personal banker, small business attorney, real estate appraiser, business broker, owner of a storage unit business, personal property appraiser, mover, apartment rental consultant. Notice what all of these things have in common. All of these people would know in advance that someone is either having a relationship problem or is moving out, or they're dealing with separating money because there's a divorce that is imminent. So this family law attorney knows that they will get referrals of the right kind of person if these 20 people know that when they think of this situation, they think of this person. You see how this is like next order thinking. We are not saying I'm just going to go and directly advertise for the thing that I want. I'm going to say, no, who already has who I want? And now across these 20-something people, they probably have access to 10,000 people, of which at any given time, there might be certainly 50, maybe 100 people who are relevant. Now, I've run this process. I used to run a marketing agency, and we worked with law firms. And I ran this process with family law attorneys, with estate planning attorneys, with business attorneys. And every single time, if you follow this process, they got referrals. They got business from it. And it's nurturing a small set of people that they went out and they found on LinkedIn. And it worked again and again. Then I flipped over and I started working with advising some SaaS businesses, so software as a service businesses. I said, okay, who already has your customers? Let's build that list and let's go fishing with those people. Those become your relationships. And guess what? The same thing happens. They started either doing referral deals or they would do an affiliate deal or something like that in order to get more, and more customers came. So in each circumstance, that can be done. I use this now in various businesses in order to get connected. I have a hit list of like, okay, who do I need to know in order to do X, Y, and Z? So one thing I was working on this week was, well, my payment processing got a single point of failure in my e-commerce business. If Stripe goes down, I'm screwed. So I need to have a different setup for my payment processing. So who do I know? And I could go to my VIP list and, oh, here's the people who know about that kind of financing stuff or that payment processing stuff. Excellent. I will reach out and I will get referrals to 5 different people who can help me with this. It is really just a way of accelerating everything you do in business. So somebody has already gathered that audience. Your job is to ask, who are they? What are they looking for? What do you have to offer them in return for this relationship? So there's a sheet that's a download below, which is going to let you go through that. And you're going to think of categories of people who would become referral partners, or it will be useful to you in another way in your business. Name, recommendation from, if you got a recommendation from them, what their LinkedIn profile is so that you can know all about them, what their email is, and some notes. Now, very importantly, you might not know who these people are right now. That's what this LinkedIn process is going to let you do, because if you've set up your company profile the right way, your personal profile in LinkedIn the right way, you can get introduced to people on LinkedIn. And you can, of course, take all the people you already have on your list, because you're going to have some already, right? There are going to be some people already in your referral network, and you can ask them who their connections are, connect with those people on LinkedIn, and vet them to see if they need to be on your VIP referral list. This sounds like work, but I will tell you definitively that doing this work ahead of time is going to put you far ahead than looking for the right person when you're in crisis. Then you feel like you just reach out and you're like looking, searching for a cold introduction. You have to vet somebody, and then you're just doing an interview and you're doing the really terrible way of like interview 3 and pick 1 type of situation. No good. Do this in advance. It takes just a little bit of work. And by maintaining this list of 20 people, you are going to get so much more leverage in your business than if you have to do everything at the last minute. So how do you do this? Let's say I'm looking for a business attorney to add there. This is just a screenshot. At the top, you can, and I did this with regular LinkedIn. Of course, you can use the LinkedIn Sales Navigator if you have that. You don't need it though. At the top in the search box, you can see I type business attorney, and then I'm filtering by people, and you can filter it for people in your location if you like, depending on what kind of business you're running, or you can filter it for secondary connections. In other words, people who are 1 degree of connection away from you. So somebody you're connected with on LinkedIn knows them. So you can click on the 2nd degree connection, and then you can get a warm introduction to those people. You can click on seniority to see if they are more senior people, because those are better ones in general. If they've been around for longer, us old guys, we know a lot of people. That's the best way to do it. And very importantly, don't just connect with them, right? It's one thing to just have a LinkedIn connection, but I have over 15,000 connections. Now, that means I don't actually know a lot of these people very well. So for the people that you really want to get connected with and know them extremely well and have them on your VIP list, meaning they're very important people, you take the relationship offline. In other words, you schedule a call and you get to know them. You add them to your email list so that they're getting your emails. And if you're not doing regular emails, that's a subject for a different training. And you want to nurture these people. They are your leverage. They're your leverage for the long term. I make a point of reviewing my personal CRM, my VIP list on an ongoing basis and saying, okay, who haven't I talked to in a while? Who is just a great person who I like? We can be mutually beneficial going forward. I did not do this for the first many years of my career, and I regret it. I probably spent 15 years not doing this. And the number of people that I could have had in my network that could have been incredibly helpful is significantly smaller. This is a compounding thing. The earlier you start, the better. And as someone who's lived in both not doing this and the doing this world, I will say do this unequivocally. It takes time. For an introvert like me, it's painful and it's so worth it. So if you want to close more business, the next thing is I just want to make sure that you know that in the CEO Workbench, we have a ton of other resources, how to do an elevator pitch, sales, marketing, etc. So make sure you log in there. It is free and explore everything in there. There's a whole bunch of trainings. You can just click on a training there, watch it. All the downloads are there. Everything is in one place. Doesn't cost anything. It is totally free. Make sure you see it. So next, publishing content. How do you publish content? Because it's hard. If you think about it, well, what do I publish? You're racking your brain for thinking about like, what should I post on? Oh, that seems boring. That's not interesting. What's actually going to attract people? What is going to make them want to visit your profile? Because you've now optimized your profile. So you're getting actual prospects coming in there. So how do you get those prospects to go from not knowing you to knowing you? They're not going to blunder on your profile. Profiles aren't the center of LinkedIn. Profiles are kind of at the edge. If the center is the feed, and you need to be in the feed to get noticed so that gorgeous headshot of yours and that headline of yours attract them to click to your profile and then do business. So you have to be posting. Publishing content. How do you do it? Winning the content game. Here are the questions you might have. What do I post? Who's it targeted to? When do I post? So I'm going to first talk to you about the concepts, and then I'm going to give you a super easy tool to make this really quick so that you're not racking your brains. What do I post about? It's unclear what you post about, but let me first go through the principles before I give you the sexy tool. Because if I give you the sexy tool, you're not going to know why the sexy tool works, and you're not going to be able to customize it to your situation. So first, the principles. What do I publish? First, understand that not everyone is ready to buy. So if you're looking for prospects on LinkedIn, most of them are not ready to buy anything today. So you just hitting them on the head with an offer saying, buy this, buy this, buy this is unlikely to be successful. You have to meet the prospect where they are. They have something that's going on in their life. They have a problem that is not a product, right? You are selling a product, a service, whatever you're selling, but they don't want that now. But they do have problems in their business that are higher level that you can eventually trace down to a solution that you can provide something for. So most of the time, if you spend time talking about their problems, you will get much more attention than if you are talking about your solution. So it means spending most of your time talking about problems. So the way that I think about it is there are 3 levels of content. There's the awareness content, as in you're making them aware of you through the fact that you are aware of their problems. And when you talk about the struggles of an entrepreneur, if you're selling to entrepreneurs, they're going to look at that content, especially if there's a solution in it, if there's something interesting in there. So 80% of your content about will be in the awareness category, making them aware of you because you are aware of their problem. 15%-ish, and these are very, general numbers, but 15% of the content is on consideration. Like, yeah, I'm kind of looking for this thing and I'm not sure, who I should choose. And it's showing that you are a good choice for it because you understand their problems and you have a process for doing it. And 5% is purchase-related content. Hey, here's what I got. Here's some testimonials of people who have worked with me. So if you take this as a rough guideline, that leads us to a process, again, this quick 15-minute thing that I'm going to show you in a minute, which is awesome, about how you can do your content. But that's the why, right? Because most of the time, you're not going to get the one person who's ready to buy. And if they are ready to buy, well, guess what? That little headline that you've got there is going to lead them down the path. But most of them are not ready to buy. So you need to start building a relationship with them virtually by a lot of awareness content. And the awareness content is showing that you understand their problem. Because if you understand their problems, you earn the right to offer a solution. So what you want to do is give downloads, resources that are focused on the problem that they're facing. Now, we talked about in the profile having that resources section and having some downloads and things like that. Much like this video, when posted on YouTube, will have downloads on it because I really understand your problem as an entrepreneur because I've done this for 30 plus years. And I have some resources I can offer you. Here's a download. So that's what awareness content is about. Then there's consideration content, showing that you're an expert at what you do For instance, in this video, I'm showing that I know a thing or two about LinkedIn because I've gotten 15,000 plus connections in 18 months. Well, I must know something about this, right? Now, do I have 300,000 like some people? No, but also I'm not offering something that everybody in the world is going to be interested in, right? So for my content, if it gets 150 to 250 views, that's actually not bad because these are, for me, high leverage individual people. Like an individual relationship for me can be worth a lot versus you might see someone with 300,000 connections or followers or what have you, but they're selling a $99 e-course. Well, obviously they're going to need masses and masses of people versus me who's working with a few relationships really deep. So what you need to do is make sure that you have the right ratio. So you're showing that you're an expert at what you do and you're getting enough eyeballs on the content for what you are offering, right? So the consideration content, that 15%, is downloads and resources focused on how they should make a decision to solve a problem. Now, again, you're not pitching them, you're helping them make a decision. And sometimes the decision they're going to make is they shouldn't work with you, and that's okay. But the point is that you're helping them make a decision. And that, again, earns the consideration of you purchasing from you. All right, that's consideration content. How do I, as a consumer, make a choice? Oh, well, Raj has helped me make a decision about what I need. So of course I'm going to consider him in that. But if he's not the right one, okay, well, that's great. I've just filtered out somebody who's not a good partner for me, and I've filtered in the people who are. Last is purchase content. That's a little bit more of the humble braggy stuff, but I wouldn't phrase it in that way. Here's what I do, and here are testimonials. Now I have a separate training on testimonials. They have a very specific purpose in sales. I'm not going to go into that here, but that's what that 5% of content is. Okay, so what do I do with all of this? All right, now I understand the kinds of content, and you're like, okay, so much information, Raj, how do I actually do anything? Well, the best way to post is daily, post at least twice a week. Use scheduling software. I use Metricool now, although I've used many different things in the past. I'm not affiliated in any way with Metricool. It just happens to be what we use right now. And I would have a VA or executive assistant, somebody publishing for you. You should be creating material. You should be responding personally. You shouldn't delegate responding to messages unless you're at insane levels. If you are at the level that you need to delegate, you shouldn't be watching this video. You should have that personal touch there. And that VA or EA will also keep you honest about publishing. They'll be like, hey, we need a new post, and they'll make sure it actually gets done. So I strongly recommend having someone helping you with that. So this is one of my favorite tools. It is a derivative of another number of tools that I've found in the past. This is the one that works well for me. I call it the Authority Content Builder. Now, what the Authority Builder does is make 30 days worth of content really easy. What you're going to do is at the top of this, you're going to write down 5 problems that your prospect has. Problems that are related to what you do and that would be on their mind. Now, it might not be the problem that they urgently have right now. In other words, it might not be directly the thing that causes them to purchase what you have to offer right now, but it might be like one step before. But it's problems that they have. The idea of content is to get them nodding, yeah, this guy really understands me. So you're going to write down the 5 problems at the top. And then on the left, you've got these formats. So a Q&A, questions and answers. How to, like how do I do something if I have this problem? The Q&A would be Q&A about this problem. Winners and losers. People who solve this problem do this. People who don't solve this problem keep on doing this. Gotchas before you buy. So problems or mistakes people make in making a choice of vendor related to this problem. Surprising facts, things that you didn't expect about this problem. Problem isn't what you thought it was. And then why we buy from the best. Why choosing a high quality provider, vendor, is the best thing to do. So what you do is you take 5-10 minutes and write the problems at the top, and then you fill out the rest of the grid with these formats, like what are the questions and answers, what are the how-tos, what are the winners and losers, and you will get a grid of 30 pieces of content that you can make. Look at that. You've just used this format. And now, here's an important thing. You can use the same thing every single month. And you kind of don't have to really change it that much because unless you learn new problems like, hey, this problem isn't resonating, I'm going to replace it with another one. Or some formats are working better than others. If you just use this, you can recycle the same thoughts every single month because what you're doing is just creating new pieces of content that say the same things. And that's okay. Because the fact of the matter is, even if someone reads every single thing that you post, they're not going to remember 30 days later what you posted last month. Second of all, they're not reading everything you post. Most of the time, they aren't even seeing what you post. So they might be, someone who is like actually connected and engaged with you might see 1 in 3, maybe 1 in 10 of the things that you post. So odds are they've never seen it. It's totally new to them. So if all you're doing is you're taking this grid and you're putting in like bullet points and notes in each one and then creating new content off of those, or taking the one that you did 30 days ago and rewriting it, you have infinite content and it does not take that much time. But wait, there's more. It sounds like a pain in the butt. I have to create 30 pieces of content? No, we're going to do better. Here's the hack. You can get 80% of the way there in 5 minutes. So once you fill out that chart and you've got some notes in there, pick an AI of your choice. ChatGPT, it can be Claude, doesn't matter. And you give the examples of 2 to 3 good LinkedIn posts. Now, ideally, these are posts that you've written, and you say, here are examples of 2 to 3 good LinkedIn posts. I'm writing a new LinkedIn post. I'm giving you the notes about the subject matter below. Please write me another LinkedIn post. All right. Then you're going to pick a box from that authority content matrix that you just did, and you're just going to dictate. Now, if you have the version of ChatGPT that is on your phone, you can actually dictate to it. Probably, if you're watching this video 6 months from now, there's probably a whole new awesome technology about this. But the point is, you're just going to dictate. You're just going to brain dump and ramble about the topic. And it doesn't matter because the AI is going to arrange it into something that's a good post because it's got examples of good posts. So you just ramble for 5 minutes and talk about it. And then you hit go on that AI and it's going to rewrite your ramblings into a post that looks like the prior posts. This is the most efficient way of doing it. And you will learn, if it's hard to ramble at the beginning, you'll learn that you don't have to self-censor. You don't have to edit. When you're writing, so much of the time that we are self-censoring as we edit. We write a sentence and we rewrite a sentence and it becomes really painful. The point is that every piece of content does not need to be a shining example of perfect. Now, there are gradations of this. Now, I go a step further and I have a whole library of hooks and things that work and things like that, but that's because I've already mastered the basics. Like for me, I don't post all the time, right? I'll post 3 to 5 times a week on LinkedIn. On Twitter, it is more than twice that. But on LinkedIn, that's the most I've found that's a good mix of what I can sustain, very important, and what is effective. But if you just do this, it doesn't take that much time. It takes a little bit of time to make that authority content builder, but then all of a sudden you're on rails. And now if you have a VA, as I suggested earlier, they're keeping you honest. Hey, can you put 2 hours on your calendar and just power through a bunch of these? And if you do that, you can create a month's worth of content in not that much time. So that is the hack to content. So that's what I've got for you in terms of how to turn LinkedIn into actual sales. It starts with your profile so that it's leading down the funnel, and then it goes to content, and make sure that you have content out there constantly. This is the simplified way of doing it. Once your LinkedIn is up and running and optimized, you will be attracting people who will be customers. So the next thing is, how do you turn those folks into actually closed sales? And in this video here, I go over how you can do that.